Today we're gonna working on Leetcode question number 97, interleaving string. Given strings s1, s2, and s3, find whether s3 is formed by an interleaving of s1 and s2. An interleaving of two strings s and t is a configuration where they are divided into non-empty substrings such that this one. So basically, if you have been given aabcc and the s2 is dbbca, S3 is a combination of like these uh, strings S1 and S2 interleaved, and they are all being used, and they are all being uniquely used only once. Then we're going to be returning true. Otherwise, if the length doesn't match, or like the final S3 doesn't is not a combination of or interleaved combination of S1 and S3 S2, we're going to be returning false. Okay, so the way we're going to be doing it is using the dynamic programming. So there's going to be a base case where if the S1 dot length is not equal to like S1 plus S2's length is not equal to S3 dot length, we're gonna be returning false. Yeah, then we're gonna say that our we're gonna note down the length of both s1 dot length and s2 dot length, and then we're gonna have our dynamic array. We're gonna have our dynamic array by, so it's gonna be an, first of all it's gonna be an array of n plus 1. So those are gonna be the total number of rows, and then we're gonna fill it up with we're gonna fill it up with elements, and the number of elements are gonna be n2 plus 1. So these are gonna be the number of rows, and n2 plus 1 is gonna be the number of columns. And then we're gonna fill it up with false at the beginning. Now we're gonna have our row starting from 0 to a row which is gonna be going up to n1, and our column starting from 0 to column going up to n2. So there are a couple of things here. First of all, what if we are at the when the row is equal to 0 and the column is equal to 0? Well, we're gonna start with true. Okay, so when the row is equal to 0 and the column is equal to 0, we're gonna be starting with true, just because both of them are empty, and the answer is gonna be equal to true. Otherwise, let's say if one of them is not 0, let's say if the column is 0 but the row I'm sorry, let's say if we are on the first row, we are at the first row and the column is changing, column is not so in that case we know that we don't have any element on the top of the array. So all we're gonna be doing is that dp of rc is gonna be equal to we want to make sure that the previous column is true, dp of r and c minus 1. So the previous column is true, and like at that time where the s2 of c minus 1 is equal to of s1 of r plus c minus 1. So we wanna so in that case we wanna be looking at the previous value, which is true, and we want to make sure that the current the character represented by the s2 at c minus 1 and the character at s1 at the point uh, at the index r plus c minus 1, they are true. So that's gonna be the answer. Similarly, we gonna say that if the column is 0 and the row is moving, so we are at the first column, in that case we don't have any element at the left side, we only have an element at the top, so our row is gonna be previous, c is gonna be the same, so we're gonna check the element at the top. We're gonna check the element at the top, and similarly we wanna check that the s1 oh, this is gonna be the s3, sorry, this is gonna be the s3, but this time we're gonna be checking that our s1 is r minus 1 is basically equal to again s3 r plus c minus 1. So because our row goes is the is basically goes from 0 to the length of s1, and our c goes from 0 to the length of s2. So last time when we were at the first row, we were actually traversing, we were moving we were checking that the s3 like the index at s2 is basically equal to the index, the current index of r plus c minus 1 at s3. But this time we are moving our column is the first column and the rows are changing, and the rows are actually our r is basically representing is iterating through the s1, so we're going to be looking at s1 index of r minus 1 is that equal to the current index of s3, which is basically r plus c minus 1. Okay, if that is not the case, so we are not at the first row and not at the first column, in that case the dp of rc we're gonna have a combination of these two. So either we're gonna say that the previous like dp of r minus 1, or like the dp of r and c minus 1, so the previous column, we're on the same row but the previous, so the one on the left side, if there, and so it's gonna have exactly this thing, dp of, so either it's gonna be dp of r and c minus 1 and the s3 at r plus c minus 1 is basically equal to s2 of c minus 1. Either that is correct or this line over here is correct, which is again the previous row, and we are comparing like the current s3 index to s1 index. Either way, if any of them is true, this is gonna become equal to true. Okay, and once we are out of this loop, the thing which we're gonna be returning is the dp of n1 and n2. problem here. So first of all, there is a typo, LENGTH. Let's test it for other test cases. Yep, and it passed all the test cases.